the area father.
Do you think that age factor in the African leader is a huge problem? And how do we go about tackling that? Yeah?
Yes, it is indeed a huge problem. Because come to think of it, we have leaders who have been in power for over 3 or 4 decades in Africa. Then ask yourself a simple question: what would a man be doing in office for 40 years? Add to the age you were before you assumed office, you're over 70, 80, 90 years. So what are you still doing? We have young graduates, people who are vibrant and intelligent, but because of old age and what the African context has made us understand that leadership is only for people who are aged. We have had a problem of studying that if you're not up to 60, 70 and 80, you cannot be a leader. But to me, I think it's a myth because it has never worked for Africans. So we should actually look into something like we have about 6 African heads of state that have been in power for over 3 decades. To mention for just a few are people like the Equatorial Guinea president, who is Teodoro Obiang Nguema. He's been there for 42 years. We also look at the Gabon, 42 years, who is Paul Biya. Sometimes most of them come in wheelchairs. You'll be asking yourself, if a man who is a leader comes in wheelchairs, what would he offer to people who are not pushing him and who are very vibrant and walking and talking well? When you're coming in a wheelchair, it becomes a problem. It means as moribund as the wheelchair is, also your brain is also gone moribund. So you wouldn't have anything to offer to the younger generation. Also, we go to Cameroon, 39 years of Eduardo Dos Santos. He's a popular name in Africa. People know him. So, but what will be doing there for 39 years? We also go to Robert Mugabe of Zimbabwe for 38 years. He became one of the strongest in Africa. That his name became a household name in Africa. That once you mention Mugabe, even the younger generation knows, even if they've not seen him, but know because of bad leadership in Africa. So the age factor is really a huge problem. If a man who has been in power for over 3-4 decades, I think his brain has given us everything he has to give us.
The age has nothing to do with it, but these guys go there for their selfish interests. A lot of people want to, for instance, you have a friend who wants to go into power, who wants to contest. He has not won the election, but then you are hoping that he will make you the minister of something, he will give you an appointment, and his children are hustling that, okay, once my father gets into there, I'll become this, and they will make sure the person gets into there. And the father is going into that place to empower his family, his kids, his family members, to enrich them. That is the problem we have. So if you have that mentality, even if you get into power at the age of 20, you will do the same thing.
Area father, there is how nature has made life to be. The shape of life is that shape of a projectile. It starts, it climbs, it gets to climax, and it begins to dwindle until it gets down. That is the shape of life. That being said, when you are at your peak, when someone starts from younger age, he graduates and gets to a certain place and he begins to go down. You don't expect somebody who is in his 80s to be as agile as he was when he was probably in his 20s, in his 30s. Even outside the physical ability to do things, at this point in time, the brain cells are beginning to give way. A lot of them are beginning to wear out because life is generally wear and tear. You don't expect that person to be as articulate as he was when he was younger in older age. So age is very, very important in leadership.
Why do you think that corruption is deeply rooted in African leaders? Give sight and suggestions how you think fighting this pandemic can be done. And what role do you guys think that the citizen must play to hold leadership accountable?
Talking about corruption, I'll answer this question by an example. I'll talk about mindset, and I'll give you a quick example. A few months ago, the Accountant General of Nigeria was charged for over 110 billion naira of proceeds of corrupt activities in his office. Now, the name Accountant General already suggests that his job is to, among other things, keep accounts and make sure that nobody steals from us. So it immediately tells you that if the man who is supposed to be your gate man becomes the armed robber, you have a serious problem. Now, building on that, I think it's fundamentally a thinking, a mindset. Africans have not realized that at certain point of riches become worthless. A man who has $1 billion and a man who has $500 million can basically afford the same things, the same kind of toys. If you realize this, you know that there's a cap on the prices that houses sell in Banana Island, and to not go beyond that. So if the cap is 1 billion and you decide to steal 100 billion, nobody will sell 100 houses to you in Banana Island because other people will need to live. And in any case, even if you are able to acquire those properties, you can only sleep in one, live in one, eat in one at any given time. So it's a mindset. We have to talk to our leaders. We have to engage our leaders so much so that they will realize that primitive accumulation of wealth is what it is, primitive. In a modern era, you only need basics to live. And when the basics are available to everybody, it is even security for you who is the leader. How do citizens engage with leadership to correct this menace? It's a big problem because there are now broadly two classes of citizens. Those who are well off, the 1%ers, and those who are the 99%ers. The 99%ers are poor. According to the World Bank record, the 130 million Nigeria are having what they call multidimensional poverty. Hopeless poverty, put it simply. It means that 130 million out of 220 million live on less than $2 a day. Now, don't press me wrong. Those who are above that, the other maybe 80 million, another 70 to 79 million of them are only living on about $5 a day. So it's still that poverty, endemic, systemic, generational poverty. The citizens must know that leadership are weaponizing this poverty. And anything that is weaponized can only do one thing: damage. If you continue to subjugate yourself to the weaponization of poverty, chances are that you will not escape it. So it is time that we know that this money that these people are stealing principally belongs to you. And if you know that this man is stealing from you, your thinking towards the way he treats you with that money changes immediately. So when they give you 5,000 to come and carry gun or to come and snatch ballot boxes, you know that this money is part of your money. The best you can do is to reject it. The next best is to accept it, eat it, drink water, and not do what they are sending you to do. So fundamentally, leadership must change its thinking to know that primitive accumulation of wealth is what it is, primitive, and citizens must know that when poverty is weaponized, it is what it is, weapon, and weapon only destroy. Thank you very much.
Well. It has been a very incisive discussion. Talking about Africa, sometimes it can be shameful. There's no gainsaying that Africa is still lacking in leadership who are capable of meeting the complex challenges, okay, while serving as an inspiration to young people. Similarly, citizens of African countries have assumed a docile, which one concern me kind of attitude to engaging government and holding government accountable. This cannot be the way to go. Citizens must wake up to the powers that they do have to begin to influence and steer the leadership of African countries in the direction they want. Okay? And this is up to the African youth. I know it will be a long and painful process, but this is what is needed right now.
This is the area father. Yes, on the street, because this is Streetyarn.